Chosen one. Before you listen casually, pause. Because this message was not sent to everyone. It was sent to those who have been feeling something new rising inside them. Something unnamed. Something they can't explain. Something that doesn't fit into old spiritual language. If lately you've felt stronger but quieter, more aware but more detached, more powerful but less interested in proving it, this is not coincidence. This is confirmation. God is not restoring an old anointing in you. He is not reviving something from the past. He is introducing a power the world has no reference for. No scripture labeled it. No religion systemized it. No tradition prepared people to recognize it. And that's why you were misunderstood. That's why you were isolated. That's why even spiritually mature people couldn't read you. Because you carry a power that doesn't resemble anything they've seen before. Stay with me. Because by the end of this message, you'll understand why your life had to unfold this way. And why what's coming next will shock even those who doubted you the most. Chosen one, let's be honest. If this were a familiar power, you would have recognized it by now. But this one came online without an instruction manual. It activated quietly. It didn't announce itself. It didn't come with applause. Instead, it showed up as a deep inner knowing, an unusual calm during chaos, a loss of interest in validation, a sudden intolerance for fake connections, a sense that you've outgrown everything, yet can't explain how. That's because this power is not emotional. It's not dramatic. It doesn't seek attention. This power operates through alignment, not effort. Old spiritual power relied on force, on striving, on proving faith. But this new power moves when you stand still. It rearranges reality when you remain silent. It changes rooms without you saying a word. That's why people started feeling uncomfortable around you without knowing why. Your presence began to expose things without confrontation. And you probably blamed yourself for that at first. You thought, why do people pull away? Why do conversations feel shallow now? Why can't I pretend anymore? Because pretending would dim a power God refuses to let you hide. Here's the truth most people aren't ready to hear. The world can only recognize what it has seen before. And what you carry has never walked this version of Earth before. You are not here to repeat a pattern. You are not here to mirror an old prophet, leader, or archetype. You are a prototype. That's why comparison never worked for you. That's why copying others drained you. That's why following trends felt suffocating. Your spirit was designed to introduce, not imitate. This power does not dominate. It displaces. It doesn't argue with darkness. It makes darkness irrelevant. That's why you didn't win battles the way others did. You survived by outlasting, not overpowering. God didn't train you to fight demons. He trained you to outgrow them. And when you did, confusion followed. Because people don't know what to do with someone who doesn't need conflict to win. Chosen one. This power could not activate in noise. It required silence. It required separation. It required losing people you thought you needed. Isolation wasn't punishment. It was sterilization. God removed false influence, emotional dependencies, borrowed identities, external validation. Because this power cannot coexist with external authority. That's why mentors disappeared. That's why guidance went quiet. That's why prayer felt different. You weren't being abandoned. You were being rewired. God was teaching you how to hear without sound, how to move without instruction, how to trust without reassurance. This power is self-sustaining. It doesn't collapse under pressure. It doesn't need crowds to function. That's why you had to learn how to stand alone without feeling lonely. Chosen one. This power does not announce itself with fireworks. It does not come with a dramatic moment where everything suddenly makes sense. Instead, it reveals itself in subtle shifts. Change is so quiet that if you're not paying attention, you'll think you're losing something. When in truth, you are gaining authority. Let's slow this down. Because if this power is active in you, you will recognize these signs immediately. Not emotionally, but internally. You don't react the way you used to. Not because you're numb. Not because you're tired. But because your spirit no longer panics. Situations that once triggered anxiety now feel manageable. People who once controlled your emotions no longer have access to your nervous system. You pause before responding. You watch before speaking. You wait before deciding. And here's what's strange. Even though you're doing less, things are working out more effectively. That's because this power doesn't rush. It moves after clarity locks in. You're no longer reacting from emotion. You're responding from position. And people feel that shift immediately. You walk into spaces and something changes. Conversations slow down. Energy shifts. People become either unusually quiet or suddenly defensive. And you're not doing anything. You're not projecting. You're not asserting dominance. You're simply being. This is one of the clearest signs this power is active. Your presence has become informational. People feel seen, evaluated, or exposed. Not because you judge them, but because your energy now operates at a frequency that reveals truth automatically. Some will feel safe around you. Others will feel uncomfortable and won't know why. Both reactions are confirmations. At some point, you stopped over-explaining. You stopped defending your intentions. You stopped correcting misunderstandings. Not out of pride, but out of clarity. You realize something important. Those meant to understand you already do. Those who don't, never will, no matter how much you explain. This power does not argue for acceptance. It stands in self-recognition. Silence no longer feels like suppression. It feels like containment. You're not hiding. You're holding. Before, intuition came as a feeling you questioned. Now, it arrives as a decision already made. You don't debate it. You don't analyze it. You don't need confirmation. You simply know. And the knowing is calm, not emotional. That's because this power does not come from the mind. It comes from alignment. When something is off, your body registers it immediately. When something is right, there's no excitement, only certainty. You trust yourself now, in a way you never did before. That is not confidence. That is authority settling in. Things that once motivated you don't anymore. Recognition, approval, validation, competition. They feel empty. Not wrong, just irrelevant. This confuses people who knew the old version of you. They think you've lost ambition. But what you've actually lost is the need to prove anything. Your desires have shifted from being seen to being aligned. And alignment always looks quieter from the outside. People tell you things. Deep things. Uncomfortable things. Things they weren't planning to say. You don't invite it. You don't interrogate. They just release. That's because this power creates psychological safety and exposure at the same time. Your presence bypasses masks. Some people leave conversations feeling lighter. Others feel unsettled. Both reactions mean the same thing. Your energy is functioning as a truth filter. This is a big one. You no longer chase clarity in other people's perception of you. You let them think what they think. Not because you don't care, but because you understand something now. Being misunderstood is the price of carrying a power that doesn't fit familiar categories. You're not here to be labeled. You're here to be effective. And effectiveness doesn't require consensus. Instead of anxiety before change, you feel stillness, a quiet knowing, a sense of inevitability. You can feel when something is ending, without panic. You can feel when something is aligning, without excitement. This calm is not passivity. It's readiness. Your spirit recognizes timing now. Opportunities come without chasing. Influence grows without strategy. Respect forms without demand. You didn't plan it. You didn't force it. It arrived because you stopped trying to control outcomes. This power moves toward those who are aligned, not those who are striving, not superior, Not special. Just different. Like you're slightly out of phase with the world. You observe more than you participate. You feel deeper than you express. You carry more than you reveal. This isn't isolation. It's integration. Your inner and outer worlds are aligning. For something that doesn't need explanation. Only expression at the right time. Chosen one. If these signs didn't excite you, but instead felt quietly accurate, then this power is already active in you. It doesn't rush. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't compete. It waits until alignment is complete. And when it moves, there will be nothing to compare it to, because the world has never seen what God is activating through you. Here's the paradox. Some will be drawn to you like gravity. Others will resent you without reason. Why? Because this power forces self-reflection. People don't feel judged by you. They feel revealed. Your stillness mirrors their chaos. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your presence triggers the parts of them they've avoided. That's why. Some will test you. Some will project onto you. Some will suddenly compete with you. Some will try to humble you. Not because you're arrogant, but because your energy refuses to shrink. And God will not allow you to apologize for what He activated. Listen carefully. This power does not announce itself. It does not demand recognition. It does not defend itself. It waits. And when the time is right, it rearranges outcomes quietly. That's why you've seen things work out without force. Why situations resolve themselves. Why people revealed their intentions without you asking. God didn't give you a loud power. He gave you a final one. One that moves after everyone else is finished trying. Chosen one. This power was never late. It was withheld. Not because you weren't ready, but because the world wasn't. God does not release new power into environments that would misuse it, distort it, or worship it. So He waited. And now, the waiting is over. Look around carefully. What once held authority no longer inspires trust. What once promised certainty now feels hollow. What once guided people now confuses them. This is not collapse by accident. This is expiration by design. Old systems were built for survival, not sovereignty. They thrived on hierarchy, performance, and external validation. But those structures can no longer sustain the pressure of the current era. People are exhausted. Tired of loud leaders with no depth. Tired of information without wisdom. Tired of power that demands obedience but offers no peace. God never patches outdated systems. He introduces something entirely new. And that new thing is you. Most people think this era is chaotic. But from heaven's perspective, it's transitional. Chaos is what happens when old frameworks collapse faster than new ones are revealed. This is why God is releasing a power that does not rely on institutions, titles, or platforms. Because those structures are unstable. This new power works internally first, then externally. It stabilizes the individual before influencing the collective. You were trained privately. Because public systems could not teach you this. If God had released this power 10 years ago, it would have been misunderstood. 20 years ago, it would have been rejected. 30 years ago, it would have been labeled dangerous. Because this power does not submit to control, fear-based obedience, image-driven leadership. It operates through alignment and inner authority. Earlier generations needed rules. This generation needs discernment. That's why you weren't given a map. You were given internal navigation. In past eras, visibility equaled influence. Now, perception does. People no longer trust what's loud. They trust what feels real. God is releasing a power that discerns without accusation, leads without force, influences without persuasion. This is why your silence became powerful, why your restraint gained weight, why your words, when you do speak, land deeper than before. You were trained for an era where authentic presence outweighs constant output. You weren't overlooked. You were protected. This power cannot be trained in spotlight culture. It cannot grow in comparison environments. It cannot mature under constant evaluation. So God hid you in obscurity, not in activity. In that hidden place you learned how to listen without instruction, how to move without validation, how to trust timing without reassurance. You learned restraint. And restraint is the final lesson before authority. Old power demanded submission. This power invites alignment. Old power ruled through fear. This power rules through clarity. People are no longer seeking saviors. They are seeking stability. Your presence provides that. Not because you fix everything, but because your energy signals safety, truth, and coherence. That's why God waited. Because releasing this power too early would have caused people to idolize it. Now, they're ready to recognize it without worshiping it. God is not introducing this power through spectacle. He's introducing it through subtle shifts. Because public recognition comes after internal acceptance. Those who carry this power don't announce it. They demonstrate it, without effort. By the time others notice, the shift has already happened. That's why you're seeing doors open without force. Why influence is forming without strategy. Why people are adjusting to you before you say a word. Everything you endured now makes sense. The delays, the misinterpretations, the isolation. God wasn't slowing you down. He was synchronizing you with an era that finally has the capacity to receive what you carry. This power could only emerge when humanity became tired of noise and hungry for truth. That moment is now. Chosen one. You are not here to fix the old world. You are here to model what comes next. This power will not fight collapsing systems. It will simply outlast them. And when the dust settles, what remains will be what was never forced. If you've felt a strange calm lately, like something is aligning without effort, that's not imagination. That's timing locking in. Stay grounded. Stay aligned. Stay observant. You are not early. You are not late. You are on time. Chosen one. This is not hype. This is remembrance. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not invisible. You are unclassified. The reason the world has no reference for your power is because you are the reference. What God placed in you does not rush. It does not compete. It does not explain itself. It arrives when alignment is complete. And if this message resonated deep in your spirit, not emotionally, but recognition ally, then your power is already awake. The rest is timing. Stay still. Stay aligned. Stay sovereign. Your presence alone is about to change everything. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.